Break the board sports. It's your boy RJ Cash. Click that like, hit subscribe. Talking about how to handicap here in college basketball. So now that the NFL season is coming to a close with Super Bowl 60, the focus is now going to shift in NHL. They're taking the 3-week break because of the Olympics. Basketball becomes the sole focus. Now there's some golf and some NASCAR and stuff like that. But college basketball mixed with the NBA is where a lot's going to come through. Now, we're into February. The best month for college basketball is February and March, right? Obviously, March Madness and the tournament gets so much pub, but it's these conference games in February and early March and the conference tournaments where I think a lot of people can make a lot of hay. They just kind of overlook them, right? And so, want to look at how can you make money at these? Well, the number one rule I have is I don't lay points on the road, right? And if I do, it's got to be a -3, 3.5 or under. And the reason why is college basketball has the greatest home court or home field advantage in all of sports. Just think about it. You got different gyms, different sizes. I remember my first time as a Blue Devils fan going to Duke and Cameron Indoor. I'm like, man, this thing is a crackerjack box, right? You might be playing in an arena that has 3,000 people, and 2 nights later be playing in an arena that has 20,000 people, right? So it's kind of all over the board. And the hardest thing to do is to go into one of those loud environments and win on the road. So I always say, don't lay points on the road. It's something I used to be, man, I used to lose so much. My first 6 years of handicapping, I lost a ton. I mean, I would win bets, right? But lost a ton before you really understood how to handicap, what to look for. And so I think, you have to have rules and a structure. And what I mean by that is things you're willing to do and things you're not willing to do. If you're willing to bet everything at every time, it's going to be impossible for you to make money. Just absolutely impossible. You might strike it rich on a week or a month or a day. Heck, you might even have a great 7-8 month run, but eventually it will all come crumbling down. Trust me, I've been there before. So again, home court advantage can't be piped on enough. And when I talk about that, I also talk about a team, they may have a losing record and they got a team that's top in the conference coming in to play them. But if they're catching 8.5, 9.5, you want to look at the scoring, right? Like the averages and not the overall. That's easy. But you want to dig into what does this team average on the road compared to averaging overall? 90% of college basketball teams average less points on the road. Why? People love playing at home. It's their home gym. They practice there. It's familiarity. A lot of these kids, especially with the one and done and the transfer portal, they may only see these arenas one time in their whole life, right? So you'll get a lot of these schools that can run off 17, 18, 19, 20, 25 game winning streaks at home because it just becomes an absolute tough place to play, right? And so in looking at that, you want to look for value. Your top 25 teams, they're always going to be overvalued, right? Doesn't mean they don't always cover, but take a team like Connecticut, ranked second or third in the country, depending on which poll you look at. Solo Ball, Hurley, just a great program, right? Well, they're 1-6 ATS their last 7 games covering. Look at Michigan. They went 7 straight games without covering, but yet roaring through competition. Top 25 teams really struggle to cover sometimes. And when you look at, it's not because they're not good, they're top 25, but the spreads. And you also got to know those teams they're playing inside the conference, those are rivalries. Even if some kids, it's their first time experiencing it, they might be playing a lower team in the conference that's got 3 seniors, right? So you got to know who's playing. We always look at the Pattersons and the Boozers, right? Like the top young freshmen. But listen, there is something to be said when you have a 22, 23-year-old man playing against an 18-year-old, right? And so, yeah, there's those couple dynamic freshmen, but when you look across the board, some of these mid-majors, some of these older teams that have been through wars and been through trenches, it's really hard. So again, we want to make sure we respect The home teams also respect home dogs. You can find a lot there. Number 3, as we spoke about it, the points per game. What does a team average on the road compared to what the other team averages at home? And what do they give up? So scoring offense, scoring defense away. You also want to look at revenge spots. Now, some of these conferences have gotten so big, they only play each other one time. But some of these smaller conferences, right, the Southland, the WAC, the WCC, the MAC, some of these other ones, they're going to play each other. Certain teams in the ACC, they're going to play each other twice. So if the first one was a tight game, and let's say, for instance, Duke goes to North Carolina this weekend, right? And North Carolina wins the game because they're at home. Well, now Duke is a good revenge spot, but they may be overvalued. So instead of Duke laying 5, they may be laying 8.5, 9, which gives you more value towards North Carolina, right? We saw last night Kansas and Texas Tech, how quickly a lead can evaporate. Kansas coming back and win that one. How about North Carolina? They're up 32 with like 10 minutes left, and they win by 10. They don't even cover the 11.5, right? So scoring can happen in bunches. The back door is always open in some of these. And to just go back to my point about home dogs and all that, look at Stephen F. Austin. They were a 1.5 point dog. It closed 4-point dog, and they win the game outright. So laying points on the road, look for revenge spots, respect home court, especially home dogs. I can't say that enough. Man's best friend is the home dog. Look ahead spots, right? So I'll give you an example tonight. And listen, I'm not betting the game, but Duke's laying 26.5 at home to Boston College. Boston College absolutely stinks, right? They stink. But look, Duke's got to go to Chapel Hill Saturday. You think they're worried about Boston College? I mean, they know they're going to win the game. Duke can play their worst game in 3 years. Boston College can play their best game, and maybe Boston College gets within 6 or 7. Maybe, right? Now, that's not to say you should take the dog plus 26, but you can't really feel comfortable about laying 26 points with Duke knowing, hey, look, they're focused on North Carolina on Saturday night. So you want to look at that. Also look at conference tournament standings, right? If you look at the Big Ten, for instance, a lot of teams, top 4 get like a triple bye. The next 4 get a double bye. Even with the triple bye, you got to win like 4 games to win the Big Ten tournament, right? So getting in that top 4, the next one, can you imagine the teams 8 down that got to win like 6 games to win a Big Ten tournament, and that their only path to get in to March Madness is to win the conference tournament? So keep an eye on the standings, who needs the game. And then I always say this, trends. I know a lot of people say, well, what does that trend matter? They were different teams then, blah, 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 blah. Look, for whatever reason, trends, historical trends always matter. If they didn't, they wouldn't keep happening, right? So if you have a team that is 6-1 ATS, I'm not saying it's a gimme that they're going to be 7-1 against the team inside the conference they're playing. But man, it's really hard to step in front of that because yes, at some point in time, the other team's going to reel off 1 or 2, but over the long haul, that other team is going to cover that number. It's just the way it goes. For whatever reason, it's been that way since handicapping started. The odds makers know it. The line makers know it. So again, apply these rules. And the last one, be disciplined. You don't have to bet everything. Build your bankroll. Bet them all the same. So if you're a $100 bettor, everything is a $100 risk. If you play it for a double unit, it's a $200 risk. Always do your risk amount here. Again, RJ Cash, Break the Board Sports, giving you stats, trends, information, and handicapping insights to help you make money in 2026 and become a better handicapper. God bless and happy handicapping.